What's up, YouTube? So now all of a sudden Obama jumps on a podcast and starts talking about aliens. Then Trump, did you see his face? I don't know. I'm starting to think that some of this stuff is like a code word for them to know certain stage or to do certain things, kind of like, code words that they've been using for children. Because I can tell you right now, all the way up until the Fort Knox thing, which we already said there was no gold in it, we knew it. Um, Everything was going fine. As in, Trump had a full head of steam, looked like everybody was, you know, still fighting. But after that, I don't know if he was threatened or if he's trying to appear that he was threatened. That was just before they took out Charlie. Remember? Yeah, someone's telling me they're deliberately doing this. Oh, look at this. Yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Bam, distraction. Oh, yeah, look at this. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Bam, distraction. Anybody else notice that? Also, when we started really getting into the Epstein files, finally getting somewhere, names being released, both sides are letting out information about the victims. One released their name and their address, and then when they went to Congress, the other idiot shows their face on camera, has them stand up in a room full of cameras. Uh, Anybody that's watching this just seen their face, and then the other idiots gave them all the information. I mean, really? Do we really think that these people are that stupid? Pretty funny they didn't slip up about letting this shit out before, did they? Now all of a sudden they're slipping up and letting out the people that told. Not only that, did you see the people that told? Okay. That's not really making any sense now, is it? Well, we know for a fact that they ate most of them. You think it's just kids that they were doing that to? No. Remember the story of the I don't know if you all know it, but you might want to look it up. I don't know how you would, and yeah, you're going to be on a list as soon as you start researching some of this stuff. But anyway, yeah, I'm not worried about it because I know I ain't one of these motherfuckers. But anyway, remember the Kanika Jenkins? How messed up that got? Nobody paid attention to her organs or anything like that. All her mother and all them cared about was money and attention. Well, yeah, besides all the other things, I'm paying attention to other things. The fact that one is taken, one is left. The fact that people are being taken out of their homes and away from everything with nothing, just like the good book says. Now, yes, just like the makers of The Simpsons, the reason why they're able to put out an episode that they said, oh, we made this episode and it was blah, 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 blah. And they keep saying that they're predicting stuff. No, we just found out that the maker of The Simpsons is behind all this, which is what I was saying from the beginning. Which is starting to make me think that the only reason why the Freemasons and all that put their name on the Bible is because they knew it was right. They knew it was going to play out. So by putting their name on the Bible and the red writing and all that, makes us believe that they perverted it. What if they didn't? What if they just tried to make all the events happen. Well, then that would mean that they're trying to fake God's return, which it says that they in the Bible that this group will do that. Look at all the holidays. That's big business trying to benefit off of religion and people's hearts, right? Uh-huh. That would be an angel of light, but really a demon. Sounds like the devil. Will disguise themselves as angels of light. Right there. Christmas, Valentine's Day, all these holidays that we all want to celebrate. Uh, 4th of July is celebrating death. And I still think March, still thinking April is the first month and March is the last month. I still think we have 28 days, which would make sense. And then if you would do the math right, we would have 13 months. Ak stands for what? 8. No stands for what? 9. Dith stands for what? 10, as in dime or decade. Then January stands for 11. February stands for 12. March stands for 13. Osiris and his body parts. Yeah, 13. The one that wasn't found was the 14th one, I believe. Or maybe it was 13 and they only found 12, but I'm pretty sure they found 13, and the 14th is the obelisk. Yeah, obelisks are basically, one, giving the middle finger to God. Two, it is showing, is basically pointing an erection at God. A male erection. Yes, because that's what they were designed for. They are the missing body part of Osiris. Yes, the one part that she supposedly couldn't find. And then they said that she had stitched him back together and brought him back to life. What does that sound like? Story of Frankenstein. Uh, have we found out that electric restarts hearts? Yes. Where do you think we got that technology from? Egyptians shocking people and their creations to give them life. Where do you think we got Frankenstein's story from? That. I believe that's why the pyramids were built the way they are, because yes, they were to harness and generate electricity. Think about it. They would pull in electric. When electric would hit it, it would harness and stay in it, and then they would be able to distribute it. Or they were pulling electric from the ground. Maybe they found a way to have lightning hit it. I know they had lightning hit it. I know that. The capstone there was quartz. Not only that, the sarcophagus that's at the top with the corner chipped out of it, you can tell that that is from a lightning strike. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think they would put their creations in those sarcophaguses without the tops, and then you know either wait for a storm or you know find a way to conjure one up if they could, and then once it hit and the thing would wake up, they consider themselves God. And I think that's why God didn't like them and destroyed them, because they were doing their own creations. Yes, I believe that's where centaurs and minotaurs come from, or minotaurs and centaurs. Yes, I believe that's why the Sphinx looks the way it does, almost like they tried it the other way. A lion with a Pharaoh's head. Maybe that didn't work out so good. I don't know. But I know God did not like them. He kept sending them plagues. They kept, attacking his people. Um, the same thing with the for alien technology and the watching our civilization from afar, all this other stuff. That all follows the fallen angels and the watchers. Came down, made us believe they were gods, gave us technology, taught us things that we use today and still do. Yeah, I believe that's what God and the Bible's talking about when it said that we were going to accept a deception from the devil, just like Eve accepted knowledge from the devil that God didn't want her to have. Doesn't matter what we think is okay or what would it hurt. Look what the world's turned into. And obviously, we can't really relate or match up the difference too much because we weren't around when they were here before they sent. If we were, then we'd be able to see the difference way more. Even though some of us can already pretty much see it, it still isn't the same as being here when it went down. Right. So I just don't know. I mean, I'm making these connections. That's not what I mean by I don't know. What I mean by I don't know is I don't really trust what they're telling us about the past. Just like we figured out that carbon dating that their carbon dating is circular reasoning. They tried to say that layers can't form that quickly, and yes, they can. It all depends on how big of a monstrosity or power acting against them. Um, like water and oil, you can make layers within seconds. Yes, it's a light material, and you can handle it easily and quickly, and it will separate in seconds. Okay. We all know that there's different materials and whatnot to the ground. The ground does the same thing, especially if it's exposed to a lot of water or heat. Well, a lot of people ran their mouth, but Sodom and Gomorrah is exactly where the Bible says. And guess what's found there? The most purest sulfur you could ever find. They've never found any sulfur that was that pure or burned that hot. Not only that, it took them 10 years to excavate and start finding the burn layer. And what they said when they found that was anybody that was, in this inferno when it happened, there's no way they were surviving it. The heat was so intense that it was able to melt rock. Yeah, that's as hot as lava. You know anything else that can burn that hot? Because I don't. Not unless it's lava. Right, that's what I mean. It says that they suffered hellfire and brimstone. Okay, hellfire is sulfur. Brimstone is what's left after sulfur gets done. Burning everything. And yeah, that's what they found, brimstone. Um, Ron Wyatt found that, and then they tried to say that he was a liar, even though after they found the Ark of the Covenant under where Jesus had been crucified and found the blood of Jesus had dripped all over the top of it. Um, exactly what the Bible said happened. Every person that touched it died because the only people that can live and be able to touch it is whoever God chooses. And now, to be fair, we went around. We don't know if somebody over there poisoned them and wanted to take it. Because, I mean, everybody's been looking for it. That's what Indiana Jones movies were about. Even though it was a bunch of hogwash. But anyway, um, not only that, the Operation High Jump, the pretty much what they were calling World War 2.0. I still don't understand how the United States went up there, got their ships destroyed. I mean, they literally got destroyed. There was not a question about it. They got destroyed. But they end up coming back like they won the fight. Yep, had the uh, German scientists and all this. It was almost like whoever was left got, brainwashed, and they were like, "Look, well, you're going to say that we lead it, that we won," and people went along with that, even though the battle reports say that something was cutting through their ship like a hot knife through butter. And what does that sound like? A laser, right? Or a death ray, right? Well, maybe they kept it up there and lured the United States up there because maybe it at that time it got so hot that they had to keep it in a cool climate to work. Think about it. It would work better in cooler climate, right? Because the climate would help keep it cooler than if it was like, let's say in Florida, heating up like it is by being used. Right. But yeah, extreme heat and cold could probably destroy it. But apparently, it must have worked. Kind of like uh, a coolant system for a car. Yeah, I think they use like the icy cold water or the freezing temperatures up there to maintain, stability of the weapon. But um, back in like Christopher Columbus days and all that, when they were still pirates and had ships, there was a guy that used a gold piece of metal, kind of like a magnifying glass, to burn ships and all that. And they considered that a, you know, death ray. I just think it's funny that that Bible said that Jesus didn't like the Egyptians, and we do a lot of the shit that Egyptians do. He didn't like Rome because of what Rome did to Christianity, and we follow Rome. It's almost like we follow every freaking bad trait, but then say we're, you know, a nation under God. We follow pagan holidays. We follow the wrong wash up day. We follow everything that's wrong, but I don't get it. Yeah, the Vatican was the one that stopped buying and selling on Sunday. You ever think the devil just started 24-hour sales and opening and all that just to cover up the fact that he stopped buying and selling on Sunday? Not only that, Sunday is the sun god, Ra. So technically, when you wash up on Sunday morning, that's not the right God. Well, yeah, he knows your heart, so maybe he'll let that slide, but I don't know. People seem to be saying that he was pretty particular about the Sabbath. Well, yeah, they tried to get on King David for working on the Sabbath, for bringing in the harvest so everybody could eat. And they tried to say that he committed an abomination because he was working on the Sabbath, even though God permitted it because it was work for the harvest, which the Jewish religion actually made it to where they would have ways that they were doing less work on Saturday to get that prepared. Yeah, Saturdays you weren't supposed to do nothing but dance around, rejoice, all that. No wonder they call it Saturday. Make people think that it would be the wrong day. Not only that, that's the end of the week. Sunday is the beginning of the week. So all these people yelling about, oh, I hate Monday because it's the first day of the week. No, it's not. Sunday was, and you already had that day off. And you're already whining. And to the ones, oh, I worked 70, I don't care. I'm talking about in majority. You're not special. You just want to pay for your bills. Get out of here. Or your luxuries, whichever one you're working that Sunday for. What? You heard me. Sometimes you work Sundays, or some people work all the time because of who they married, and it, they cost them a lot of money, so they have to work because that chick is running up your tab. Don't lie, you know she is. You can feel the dollar signs. Cha-ching, cha-ching. No, if they stay within the budget and they're a good uh, teammate, by all means, let them have some fun. But if they don't stay in the budget and they just ruin your life because they want, that's a little different. Um, Also, if they don't like the amount of money that's coming in, and all they do is stand there like that little squirrel on Ice Age, eh, 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 and point while you do all the work. No. Then you got to watch the ones that try to act like they're working, just so people will be like, well, they work. Oh, yeah? Do you watch what happens with their money? Because I'm pretty sure it goes into a bottomless pit because we never see it. Well, that's her money. Oh, let's make excuses for it now. So when I go to work, it's my money. What do I use it for? What you created? She didn't create it. Pretty sure she did. I'm pretty sure she was the one saying, "Ooh, let's do this," and I'm the one over here like, "Nah, I don't know about that." Yeah, this is the kind of shit that's got me in a lot of trouble. Uh huh. I wouldn't choose to be an F boy, and I don't like them. Simps get on my nerves only when, uh, they're trying to, look good for a girl, and yeah, they'll let that woman get so wild, and then they'll try and, act like she was innocent. It's still lying, dude. For the most part, that's the kind of stuff that I don't like about The Sims. Other than that, I don't care. You want to be bossed around by a woman, that's on you. Well, men boss us around. Yes, hardhead. One, y'all like it. Two, you need it. Three, shut up. You do. You all like when men are and put you in your place the right way. But they have to do it the way you feel it should be done, which is another form of control, by the way. And yes, fellas, they only do that because they know they're not going to control the other part that they were trying to. So they'll move to, oh, well, I control this then. They won't say it most of the time. They'll just move into that position. Like, whatever, I'll settle for this for now. Almost like a cat that won't settle down and you roll them over, trying to shoo them away, and they just lay down right where you roll them over at and go to sleep. It's like y'all are shit. Then what do? They start attacking your feet, or they end up in the position you were trying to keep them out of, so they wouldn't disturb you, and that's what you end up waking up to. Like, what the? Get out of the way. It's getting worse, y'all. What are we gonna do? Nothing. Hmm. I just don't know what to do anymore. Huh. Another thing the good book says that young men would be complexed on what to do. Because, yeah, we want to fight, but we also know that we don't know if this is one of those times that we're not supposed to fight physically or not. Not only that, the ones that are doing all this bad stuff control your uh, little fantasy life here. And I tell you right now, there's a lot of you that you ain't gonna handle being poor and living off the land. You're gonna flip your lid. Yeah, you're not gonna want to collect water. You're not gonna want to, purify it yourself. You're not gonna want to be out there farming your own land, building your own house with your bare hands. Some of you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Other ones are gonna think they know what they're doing and end up in a pickle. Which, hey, that's how you learn. But be very careful, because one wrong move, man, you might not be able to do nothing else. Yeah, you don't have machinery and all that to help you. You're just out there doing it by hand. Imagine that. If we didn't have all this terrible equipment out there tearing stuff up, atmosphere, digging into the earth to make them, etc., we'd have a lot better air, wouldn't we? Also, notice since they've been taking down the rainforest, our air quality has gotten really bad. So